Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Payne.
I am so delighted to be here with you today. And for those of you who know what's going to happen, I am just delighted that you're here with me. My name is Dr. Marissa. You do know me as the Asian Oprah, and I am the host of this show that has been going on for 8 years called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get happy. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. 418 consecutive weeks. I did not make that happen with the 8 with the last number, I promise. But this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kardashian talk at all. Because I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. I have been broadcasting for the 418 consecutive weeks on Tuesdays at Naturally High Noon with Tony Sweet, UBN Go, UBN, all different variations of this. And then as well, syndicated on iHeartRadio, which you can get anytime. But if you want to actually see me, you get to go to my CNBC, NBC News Radio channel, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5. And that is the #1 FM station, home to Dave Ramsey and the Asian Oprah. And I'm so glad. I have just had the best time contacting over 200 of my past guests. And I'm delighted to tell you that we have such special guests coming on today, calling in to wish me a happy 8 years and also to catch me up on where they are. And I'm hoping my #1 guest that's on, she just called me on my cell phone. Tony, is she there? Oh, wait. One more thing. My co-host today is none other than the man who is to blame for having me here. And his name is Tony Sweet. Could you please welcome a man that's been with me since the very beginning, the owner right now of UBN Go, Tony Sweet. Woohoo!
Well, since I'm in control of the applause, I thought I'd give myself applause. Congratulations, 8 years.
Yay, I know. Isn't it amazing and unbelievable? And yikes, 8 years. That's a lot of time. And 8 is such a special magic number. It's a homonym for good fortune, which you all know is, I know I look Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese. And it's a homonym for good fortune, which is why 8s are such an important number for me, why the book is called 8 Ways to Happiness, why I want you to be 88% happy, which is double good fortune. So we have so many things for you today for this celebration show. And poor Tony is working like overtime, 7 times, 8 times overtime to try to get all the wishes together and all of the guests on the call. So did Marion make it back?
Let's try and see.
All right. So Marion Ross.
Yes.
We got you. So those of you who don't know her, you've been like in the woods or something, because Marion Ross is the beloved Mrs. Cunningham from, of course, my favorite TV show, because it starts with Happy Days. And she's been a wonderful guest of mine. And I just loved it when she came to the studio when I was at Sunset Gower Studio. Welcome to the show again, Marion Ross.
Thank you, my darling. Thank you. And it's going to be a very big Mother's Day weekend coming up. So I'm going down to San Diego, and my children will be there, so it'll be fun, you know?
Oh, and you're now 91 years young. You were 89 years young when you came to the studio.
I'm 91 and a half, you know? Almost a half.
And 2 years ago, you came to my studio under your own steam and look amazingly beautiful. and there's a picture going up right now of you in my studio. And I just watched you were on somebody else's show not too long ago, and you look fabulous there. What is your secret to staying so young looking?
Well, I've always been very, very healthy. You know, I'm Scotch Irish. I was raised in Minnesota. I loved all the snow and all the tough weather we had, and walking on the ice in the lake. You know, and so I'm just fortunate to have always been so bloody healthy, and I still am.
I love it. Bloody healthy. Oh, that's so great. You know who I just had on is another one of your actors from your beloved show. Donnie Most was on a couple
Oh,
weeks ago.
oh, I love Donnie. I love him. Yes.
Everybody loves you. And Anson's been on twice. So
That's
maybe you're
great.
going to have to come on for a whole
You,
show
you'll have to get Henry
again.
on. Yes.
I would
Henry
love
is,
to have Henry on. Can you get him
yes,
on
and
for me?
Ron. You know,
I would love to have Ron.
my hometown in Minnesota this summer, if we get to it, is going to, they're putting up a statue of me. And Ron and Henry each have made a big contribution to this statue. And what it is I'm sitting on a bench with my arm up. And if you come to Albert Lee, Minnesota, you can sit on the bench there with my arm around you.
Oh, how beautiful. What's that date? Maybe I'm going to have to get a speaking gig there so I can do two
Right.
things
The town
and visit you there.
It's south of Minneapolis, and the town is called. It's two words: Albert, and then Lee, Lee. Albert
Okay.
Lee. Yeah.
Albert Lee. And what's the date? Do you know the date
Well,
yet?
we were going to do it this summer, but now
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we can tie in a date. Do you?
Well, yes, that's a very good point.
Everything is changed, you know.
Everything is changed. There's the thing that changes most is change itself. I can't remember who said that,
won't
but
go away. You know?
yes, that's true. That's true. So, like, how are you dealing with all of this? Any advice for my listeners?
I'm just fine, and I have a beautiful home. My son Jim Meskimen comes and brings me a green drink every morning.
Wow.
So I have that. So I'm very healthy and fit. And gosh, this should be over pretty soon.
Yes. Yes. We're hoping it is. And in the meantime, you know, what are some things I want to ask all of my guests today who are calling in, what is a silver lining? What is a COVID silver lining that has happened to you as a result of this change?
I think it allows me to really slow down. And it feels darn good at my age. And I think all of us could use that, don't you? We
Absolutely.
don't need to push on so much. I'm not so driven. I'm not so ambitious in life.
Right.
And the weather is fantastic.
Isn't
fantastic.
it?
The garden is gorgeous. Flowers everywhere. So my kids came and swam in the pool yesterday, so that was good.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All the things, you know, all the parents who said, if I had more time, I wish I had more time to spend with my kids, or I wish I had more time. You know, you're getting the time.
Everything has stopped, and it's just, I've never seen so many people walking up and down in front of my house, because people have to do something.
That's right.
And most of them are pretty well masked off, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You are just so beloved, Marian. I'm so grateful that I got to have you on my show, and that you're calling in to wish me happy anniversary. And truly,
how many years is this for you?
8. years.
8 years.
418 consecutive weeks on the
Okay.
air. Yes,
That's-
just a
well,
little
I
bit of
wish
time.
I wish you great good fortune and go on and on as much as you want.
Oh, thank you so much. You're gonna make me cry. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, I still want to, and I'm so appreciative. And please give my love to your family. I'm so glad you're healthy and happy. And yeah, definitely, I'm gonna try to put Minneapolis on my speaking tour map, and then definitely, can you tell
Just drive
Harlan
south
that?
for 200 miles south, and there's Albert Lee. Okay.
All
by
right,
the lake.
Albert Lee, absolutely. And then, yes, please do tell Fonzie and Ron Howard that I would love to round out everybody that's been on the show from Happy Days on the show. They're the last two holdouts.
All right, darling. I will tell them.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. It's so nice to
Oh.
talk to you, doll. Okay.
Oh, I love you too.
All right.
Bye. Oh, she's just so forking adorable. Tony,
Oh,
are you
yeah.
there?
Oh, no. She
You know what?
is.
Is someone else on the line?
I
Because
believe
if
we
they're
have-
not, we're gonna play some of the wonderful videos. So
But we do have a couple people. I think Stanley Goldman and Kathy
oh,
Garber.
wonderful. And Kathy Garver. Okay, perfect. Let's put them on. Can you put them on at the same time?
I think so. Let me try.
Okay, cool.
Here we go. I have Stanley on and Kathy Garber.
Woohoo! Welcome.
Hi there, Dr. Marissa.
Hi, Kathy Garver, also known as Sissy from Family Affair, and Dr. Stan Goldman, who was on my show this last year. Thank you so much for calling in.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
You bet.
Yes.
Happy anniversary, as I say, 8 years, right?
Yeah, that's right. 418 consecutive weeks on the air.
Wow.
You need a vacation. Well, I guess maybe you have a forced vacation now, in a way.
I honestly, Kathy, I don't know about you, but I'm busier now than I was before because
As am I.
Yes, I'm sure you are, because the people who there has to be a balance, right? There's so much bad news out there that I don't have a choice. I have to be present and available and connecting and trying to anchor and balance out all of the negative news. It's all over. It's hard. So that's actually the question that I'm asking everybody that's kind enough to call in today. What is your COVID silver lining?
I have the cleanest closets in town. No, but besides that, I really been able to concentrate on a couple projects that are coming to the fore. We were to film the pilot and first episode of one of my new shows, which is TV Dinners, and on May 6th. So we're unable to do that. So in the interim, we've made the website, we've made the Facebook page, we are developing the merchandise that will go along with the show. So that has been a big help. I was able to buy a house.
Wow.
During this, we were renting a house for a year when we moved down from Northern California, and we could not find a house to buy. So we rented this house. And then I said to my husband, well, why don't we just buy this house? I do not want to move. I do not want to pack. Dr. Seuss would be proud of me. I do not want to change my address. And so we made them an offer that they couldn't refuse. And so we are, and that wouldn't have been able to happen. It was enough stress trying to zoom in the notary and zoom in this person. And, it's hard to sign papers when you are not next to somebody, but we did it.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Congratulations, Mazel Tov on that. And
thank you.
Absolutely. And good luck with TV Dinners. And those of you who I reminded some listeners about the family affair. I said that you may not remember. And they're like, oh no, we watched that. We remember. So everybody remembers Sissy and the time that you just entertained us. So thank you for
thank
that.
you. And that's
you've
one of the other shows that we were able to work on during the lockdown, since I'm over the age where I can go out and about whenever I wish. But I do like the early times for Costco and the grocery store. That's a benefit. But we're doing
There's
a
a
spin-off
silver
called
lining.
Aunt Sissy. Yes, and we're doing Aunt Sissy, and that should be on pretty soon. We have shot the pilot, but it still needs to be edited. And we were going to do it on a streaming platform, but we're going to Warner Brothers, I think, instead.
Yeah.
So we have one of those wonderful Zoom stage craft meetings where everybody gets to be on the computer. So we're still tootling along. It's been not a relaxing time where we're just, hanging out by the pool. I mean, we've been working and taking walks and having fun
Wonderful.
with my family.
Right.
My 29-year-old. I'm here. I'm taking away from Mr. Goldberg, but we can do it one at a time. I just wanted to say that we're living. My 29-year-old son and his fiance, who's 29, also live with us, and so they are just a kick. And it's really fun to have family around you when you can't get out.
It is
Very much.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, best of luck in your new show and everything that you're doing. And thanks so much for calling in and wishing me a happy 8.
Well, have 8 more, my dear, and as many as you want.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And Stan Goldman, how are you?
Yes, I am fine. How are you? Or I guess the most we can say is I am asymptomatic. So that I can guarantee. But
Yes. And so what was one takeaway what was one thought that you had after being interviewed by me? It doesn't have to be good either.
No, it was like several interviews I've had, but certainly not all. It went by so fast. I mean,
Yes.
We started talking, and a minute and a half later, our half an hour was up or whatever it was. It was very fast. I think that's what happens when we just have a conversation and don't try to give a lecture or people don't try to treat you too much like this is business, but more like a conversation. I like that.
Yes, thank you. And I pride myself in that, actually, when I don't like to know a lot about my guests because I want to get to know them on the air. And I'll use this moment to pat myself on the back. There's 2 people who actually have been interviewed by some pretty big people. Rick O'Barry, who is the dolphin activist in the Cove documentary. And he's been interviewed by Larry King Live and Oprah and a whole host of major network. And he said that my interview with him was a breath of fresh air. So he said I could say that. And Frank Shankwitz, the co-founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation, who had meetings all day, he was going to call in, but he said that my interview with him was one of the best he's ever had. And he's been interviewed by a whole host of people. So I am grateful that what I love to do is received so well. So thank you, Stan, for giving me the platform to say that.
And it's not easy. I've done some hosting in my life. I used to host a show on CNBC and for a while years ago, and then I did some hosting on the Fox News channel when I was working for them. So I know it's not easy to be a host. It's not easy to ask questions and make it sound effortless.
Oh, thank you. That's high praise coming from a veteran, for sure. And what is your COVID silver lining?
I'm trying to think of one. The main silver lining is I keep hearing from people I haven't heard from in years. People, I can't quite tell whether they're calling me up just to make sure I'm okay or because they're so bored they've gotten down to me and their list.
I love
so, the reality was this is a very strange period of time for me because
Yeah.
I'm taking a sabbatical from professoring.
Teaching at
I'm
Loyola.
a college professor, and I took a
Yeah.
sabbatical starting in at the beginning of well, actually, I guess technically I started it in January. I taught fall semester, and I took the spring off, and I was going to travel, and I was literally one day away from leaving for 3 weeks in Israel. It was March 9th. I was due to leave on the 10th, and
Yes.
The Israeli government indicated that they would no longer accept visitors from America without putting them in a 2-week quarantine. Literally the day before I was due to leave, so I didn't do that.
That's
and
right.
So I'm not teaching. I'm not having the joys of learning to teach by way of Zoom and online as opposed to in class. So it's both good and bad news. I'm suspecting, however, I might have to start learning to do that for next semester because let's see when we finally get back to norm.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that you'll be trying something new and enjoying yourself because that's just the way you are. And I'm sorry you didn't get to go on the trip, but I know that everything happens for our divine and best good, even when we don't understand it, or at least that's the story that I'm sticking to.
Look, it's not. It's terrible for a lot of people, but in the situation I'm in, it's look, as you may remember, about the book I wrote, which is about my mother and her rescue from a death camp, and I have a line in the book that my mother spoke to me once years and years ago when I was in a very bad mood because something had gone wrong, and she just looked at me and said, "Stanley, it's better than being in Auschwitz." And, she knew. And I've carried those words with me all my life since then, which is, whenever things start going bad, I think to myself, it could be so much worse.
Absolutely.
It could just be so much worse. So that's it's one of the reasons why I'm not too depressed during this, because I still get to live in my nice place, and I have a nice TV to watch, and I have friends to talk to, and
you have shows to call into to wish happy anniversary.
That's right. That's right. I have 417 weeks in a row. I don't think I've remembered to take my vitamins 417 weeks in a row.
Hey, this is my longest relationship for sure.
That
All
is a
right.
long one.
Yeah. Thank you so much for calling in, Stan.
Sure. Thank you.
All
Pleasure.
right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. All
right. Bye.
And if you've just tuned in and you're wondering what is going on and why are all these people calling, and you are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Happy. Used to be Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at Naturally High Noon, broadcasting out of Burbank, California with UBN Go Radio, and on Monday night at 6 and Saturday night at 6 on my CNBC NBC News Radio channel, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and everywhere on iHeartRadio. And this show started 418 weeks ago, 8 years ago. I'm so grateful to have this continued platform to which splatter more hope and happiness, which is what this show is about. And I'm delighted. I've had already Marion Ross, Mrs. Cunningham from Happy Days call in. Just so you know, Jerry Mathers was going to call in. He's the Beaver in Leave It to Beaver. He was a guest of mine early on. And there's a picture of him not in studio, Tony, that you can see, because Jerry Mathers, this show actually, there he is, thank you. This show actually started as a radio show because we didn't have cameras, and now we have cameras. Like, I think, Tony, when was it? A year in when we started having cameras? I know it was a different stage.
About 2012.
2012. Come on, I want to see your face. 2012. So then, but Jerry was on when we did not have cameras. Isn't he cute? This is Tony Sweet, my main man.
I didn't quite hear that. What did you say again?
He's been on. I've been on every show, everywhere he's been, every studio he's been in. This started May 1st, 2012. And early in 2012, is someone on the line?
Oh, yeah, we have two other people,
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Gabrielle and
So I can't even tell the story.
I know,
I have
right?
too many people calling in. But that's okay. Bring them both on.
All right, here we go. Mr.
Hello.
And then the other, I don't know who that
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, I love it. Who's this?
This is Gabrielle Stone and Dee Wallace. We're together.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Happy anniversary, baby. Happy anniversary.
I love my life. I love you guys. I'm so delighted you both got in. I emailed, I tried to get a hold of, I have had over 200 guests. And do you know what it's like? It's like, oh, did I invite them? Oh. And thank God, I have to give a shout out right now to our beloved Harlan, who, if he didn't have meetings, was going to call in too. And Harlan is the reason why I got Dee Wallace in the first hour. Maybe it was Tony. But anyways, Harlan gets a lot of credit because he's the one that fixed me up with Marianne Ross and Dawn Wells, Marianne from Gilligan's Island, who would be calling in too, but she's just having surgery. You can you can pop her picture up there. One of the best parts of the show, I have to say, is people like Dawn Wells and Dee Wallace, who I got to watch as a child in shows that just warm my heart. So Marianne from Gilligan's Island is Dawn Wells. You heard Marianne Ross earlier in the show from Happy Days. Kathy Garver from Family Affair. Dee Wallace was the mom on E.T. That's why she looks familiar. And then a whole host of other amazing films, Cujo, her Scream, all that. And I loved her. And then they come on my show and they bring their kids, the Gabrielle Stone, who is an award-winning director, actress, and author of a new book called Eat. What is the name of it? Yeah, FML. That's the only part I remember. Hashtag
Yeah, it's called Eat, Pray, FML.
That's it. So she comes on my show, and I consider you. And all I have to say is, it's my 8-year anniversary. Can you call in? And then they call in, and I love the fact that this show has brought me together with just classic people. And
we really need that right now. We need to come together in community, and we need to come together and put out positive vibes and hold the balance for a lot of people who are out of balance. So
yes,
I can't think of a better place to do it than getting together with you on your show, baby. So let's vibrations there.
Absolutely. I love you too. I actually now remember the very first time we met was at the Conscious Life Expo, and I interviewed you, and you turned the chair around and interviewed me. Do you remember that? That was an embarrassing moment.
That sounds like two tuned in people connecting to me.
Ah, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. So I've been asking everybody that calls in, what's your COVID silver lining?
Well, for me, this is Gabrielle. I know we sound quite similar. For me, a lot of people have been at home stuck reading. So I've been really connected to a lot of my readers who have been sending me messages on Instagram after they read the book. And it's been really incredible to take this time to kind of connect with everybody on such a deep level that has just finished reading my crazy journey. So that's been really awesome for me to be able to connect with people around that.
Yeah,
beautiful.
And for me, Marissa, I have to say, all the opportunities that I've created to serve a lot of my clients and people who really, really need balancing and understanding about what's driving them right now. So I have discounted a lot of my services and really been able to be immersed in 4 or 5, private sessions every day, really helping people. So, when you give and you help, that raises you up too, and everybody wins.
Absolutely. I'm so grateful that I do what I do, because anytime I don't feel good, I just start talking and then I make myself feel better. We have that in common for sure. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I'm so tickled to think that you both could do that.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Happy anniversary.
Thanks, Gabrielle. Love you both. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.
All right. And do we have someone else? While I'm waiting to see, I want to just do a special shout out for a couple people who really helped make this show go. One is Sharon Pierre Lewis and the rest of my American Sign Language team, who helped me create a deaf radio for deaf community with the interpreters. And so appreciate that. And then Chris Schrader, who was my guinea pig to do actual live coaching. He had been through some trauma, molested by a priest, and we did a whole segment around him and coaching him on the air. So if you haven't seen that playlist and you've been affected by that kind of trauma, people still message me and thank me for doing that, which is accessible on my YouTube channel. Most of my shows are accessible for free by subscribing on my YouTube channel. So I hope you do that. Tony,
yeah,
are we doing?
Somebody is on. I'm not quite for sure who it is. Who is this?
Okay.
Who's calling in for Dr. Marissa's 8th
anniversary? Hey, Marissa, it's Dan Nitro Clark. How are you?
It's the American Gladiator.
Hey, happy 8th. Happy 4,1000, 1 million gazillion happy smiles delivered through what you're doing here. I know it's 400 and some weeks, but I think you can exponentially take that number to the amount of smiles that you delivered through all your work and through your book. And I just wanted to give you a big congratulations. And I also wanted to let you know that I admire you for the fortitude to continue doing something like that. But I think that's what happens when you have a calling towards something. Your work is your play. And I also want to say I'm very grateful for having played with you. I don't know if that sounds weird.
No, that sounds pretty flirty. And we can go there too.
Smack me now. That sounds like foreplay. Smack me now.
All right, we're gonna continue this conversation off the air. You're so adorable.
I'll meet you at the beach. At the beach.
Yeah, 6 feet apart. I don't know what damage we can get into 6 feet apart. But
how are people? I mean, how are people dating right now that haven't is it like all sexting, or what do they do? These people with their phones.
I don't know. I'll let you know. I guess I could do an experiment on that. But
there you go. That's next week's episode. Tinder, touchless Tinder. Touchless Tinder, we'll call it.
Reach out and don't touch someone.
Right?
That's so funny. So what's your COVID silver lining? And as you're thinking about that, that's the question I'm asking everybody that's calling in. Tony, my darling, if my big brother Michael is supposed to call around 12:30, so if he comes on, put him in through for me. Thanks. All right. So what's your COVID silver lining?
For me, my life doesn't change much. I still have the things that I do, so I'm grateful that I put myself into a position where I, wasn't a great panic for me. But the one thing I've noticed in the neighborhood, and I think this is beautiful, is I've noticed a lot of families connecting with their kids, a lot of families riding bikes, a lot of families taking walks that I have not seen in 10 years. Yes. I've lived here almost 10 years. I've never seen these people. And it just, I think it's great that these people are taking time now, because they're forced to slow down a bit, to reprioritize the people in their nearest proximity to make connections with their kid and go back and do things that we used to do when I was a kid. We played board games. We all sat down at the same table for dinner. Nobody, so what I'm grateful for is seeing the community blossom and the connection between families be reunited again, because I think that's going to be so important towards taking us forward. And hopefully, Marissa, this lesson that we learned through this time is not like that speeding ticket you get and you say, oh my God, I'm never going to speed again, ever. Then 2 weeks later, you go the speed limit. 3 weeks later, 6 months later, you're 90 miles an hour. So hopefully this will rest in everyone's heart, and we'll remember the gifts that came through this, because I do know for sure this will pass.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Very well said. Thank you for the words of encouragement. And maybe we will do a show next month, and we'll talk about dating during COVID. That would be an interesting show. Don't you think?
That's a great idea. I think it'd be a great idea, because I have friends, who are single, and I'm asking them how you're dating. They said, no, Tinder's still active. You just don't meet up for dates. So it's also another, I guess, silver lining is that you actually have to take the time to get to know somebody now.
Exactly.
Because you ain't doing the dirty, because you're not jumping to the dirty.
Right. I don't know what you're talking about, but I can imagine. All right. I'm not going to keep you. Thank you so much for calling in, Dan.
Thanks.
And
congratulations again.
Thank you so much. All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. God, I love my life. So
you want to play some videos?
I do. Did you pick up the Keiko one? The audio one?
I have the audio of Keiko.
Yes. Perfect.
You want to start with that?
Yes, please.
All right, if I can find it. There it is. Let's try.
And there's a picture that I had sent you.
This is Keiko Matsui, pianist, composer, and producer. I just would like to tell, congratulations, Marissa, on your 8 years anniversary. You always have such a positive energy. Not only super talented lady, but also super caring great mom. I admire and love you so much. Please keep doing what you do, giving love and light and encouraging.
Album Forever, Forever is the song. Isn't that unbelievable? I cried. Anyways, thank you so much, Keiko. I love you so much, so much. She's my guest. I met her at the Long Beach Jazz Festival. I was interviewing her on the carpet and asked her on the show. It turns out we're like twin sisters. We have like 33 things that are alike, and now a beautiful friendship, which is the best part of having this show, period. Oh, and Tony, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
From the bottom of my heart, you definitely are the reason why I'm still doing this.
Oh,
because
thank you.
You started me off.
And you talking about doing a roast. I said the only thing I can think of is when there's a single man. Dr. Marissa gets to be a big flirt.
Yeah, I remember that men's panel that we had, and there was like talk about swallow, no swallow, and like getting down, or I can't even remember. I didn't have time to go back and look, but it was hilarious. So you want to see a funny show? Go on my YouTube and put Dr. Marissa and male panel. It's freaking hilarious. Because I'm a little flirty. You gotta admit, I have to, just a little bit. Oh, I want to do a shout out to Teresa and Jerry Mathers. Leave It to Beaver, who was gonna call in, but he just got a new grandson. Woohoo! Yay. And they're coming home like right now. So that's why he's not here. But thank you so much. Another one we're not going to have time to play, but I have to say another funny moment from the show was when Devlin called in, and he's another host on another show. Yeah. We both were in that competition, and where we both were 2016 Podcast of the Year Top 10 in Health award winners. I don't know if he was in that category, but anyways, he says on the show, he says, and I'm polyamorous. And I thought he said, I'm Pollyanna. That was one of those funny moments.
Yeah,
do you remember that?
I do remember that. That was
that
was an eye opener right there.
Super funny. It was like, oops, there it is. That was pretty fun. Do you want to play? Larry Namers is kind of cute. His wishes. He's the co-founder of E Entertainment.
Yep, I could do that. Here we go.
That would be great.
Hi, this is Larry Namer, the founder of E Entertainment Television, and I just wanted to congratulate Marissa on her 8th year anniversary. It's fabulous. I mean, one of the most fun things that I got to do in the last year was actually be on Marissa's show with my son John, who's a cancer survivor, and got to talk about all these, personal feelings and things much closer to me than just what I'm doing on TV or film. So anyway, Marissa, keep going, don't give up. Bye.
Isn't that lovely? Not every day the co-founder of E Entertainment sends you a person. He was the first one who responded. And I'm texting my big brother. It's 323-524-2599. Okay. All right. So what else? Who do we else have we in the lineup? Oh, I wanted just to give a little shout out to people who've been on the show who are now on the other side in heaven. And I didn't get the video in on time, but one of my guests was Barbara Marks Hubbard, who's now on the other side, and her daughter. I arranged it for her to surprise her mom on the show on Mother's Day. So that was a few years ago, or maybe it was last year. The years are getting mixed up, but I'll be playing her little clip later. But just a peace in, peace out. Love you so much, Barbara Marks Hubbard, as well as Oz Schaefer, who's on the other side, who came and talked about brain concussions. And a shout out to Allie Bierman, brain trauma survivor. She sent something in, and I'll be playing that after the show. The response was just incredible that I didn't have time to have everybody on or played. Brad Yates is a funny one. Can we play that one?
Yep, here we go.
He's the tapper. If you missed that show, it was a really popular one.
8 years of Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Wow. What can I say about Dr. Marissa? We first met when we were keynote speakers on a cruise in the Mediterranean. And then she and my wife, Christy, and I had some adventures around Rome, which, due to complications with the Italian government, I'm not at liberty to discuss right now. However, I can say that when we got back to the States, I had the great privilege and pleasure of being on Dr. Marissa's show in the studio. It was a lot of fun. Very proud to be part of the show. And congratulations, Dr. Marissa. That's awesome. You're awesome. Love what you're doing. Thank you for doing it. And peace in and peace out.
Some more, but it's just peace in, peace out to Robin Hack for sending one in. I'll be playing it. Julie Moret, beautiful. On behalf of Agape, Kevin Wood, my new boss at Life Mastery Foundation, and I spoke twice there this morning, so you'll have to go look that up on my social. Thank you so much for all of your beautiful wishes. And you just cut in if anything comes in, Tony, on the phone line. Yes? Yes. So one of the people have been asking me what my most memorable shows have been, and all the people who have called in, obviously, and some few really great mentions that were early on in my show career. One is Melody Beattie, the New York Times bestselling author of Codependent No More. Gloria Allred, these were all in my first year. Dr. John Gray, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I loved having Janine Roth on, and it was really interesting. She came on because one of my favorite books was called When You Eat at the Refrigerator, Pull Up a Chair. And she ended up coming on 3 times, including once where she talked about Bernie Madoff's he made off with 10 million of her dollars. So that was truly like astonishing. And just her attitude about it all was right up my life alley. And the nicest thing was I found her by just emailing her and saying, would you like to come on the show? And she responded right away, which is super cool. Fran Drescher, same thing. Gloria, no, I said Gloria, I read already. Layla Ali. I love my Layla Ali. She's just the most beautiful inside out, and huge compliment from her about my show. Cause I was, she had a podcast and I said, wow, you're doing great. And she says, no, compared to yours, mine's pre-recorded. You're the master because you do your shows live. And so that was a huge compliment from her. I loved, another rest in peace, Ryan Long was a guest on my show. He just went to the other side in March. So peace in, peace out, love to you. Jane Akuyo was so memorable. She was here from Africa, and she's the soldiers that the child soldiers, that was a super big topic, and the Kono. It was amazing, that story, if you have a chance to go. And Frederick, who had his hands chopped off in the Rwandan genocide, his story is amazing. Nick Yaris, 140th person to be let out of prison based on DNA evidence. Let's see, Chef Sir Bruno, who feeds millions of motel kids. Ron Brown, football, plus many more, doing a lot of philanthropic work. My favorite kinds of stars are those who take their limelight and shine it on places of darkness. And Ron Brown, as well as Corey Feldman and his wife, beautiful wife, Courtney, Emmanuel Kelly, who was just on again and on replay and coming on my chat, Jessica Cox, who was going to try to call in. Chairman of Los Angeles County, Mark Ridley Thomas, came on, and just guests from all over the world. And I'm just so grateful to all of you. I think my big brother ran out of time. He was going to call in Michael Bernard Beckwith, who really saw, and I have a shot of him looking into me that I don't know, Tony, you can put up there. He really is the person who saw all this happening. And this show all started because of a voice that came at 4:30 in the morning that said radio early on in 2012. And I'm like, radio? Why would I do radio? I had been doing some TV commentary, but the voice was very insistent. And I woke up at 4:30 in the morning, wrote down manifesto, the storyboard, the whole script and everything. And then I meet Tony Sweet, and the rest is history. So that's how it started. Thank you, big brother Michael Bernard Beckwith, for not only writing the foreword to the best-selling book, which is another thing that he saw that I didn't see coming. But thank you for your support. And the last time he came on the show for a celebration, he said soon at the end of the show, he said, he's the one that dubbed me the Asian Oprah and introduced me to Oprah as the Asian Oprah. He says soon they're going to be calling Oprah the Black Dr. Marissa. So that's, I'm sure what he was going to say, but we're just so blessed. I'm so blessed to have this show. I'm so blessed to have all of you continuing to tune in and support. If you want to be a sponsor, always looking for sponsors to make the show possible. And, very affordable rates. And then you get Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award, which many of my guests have gotten. Thank you for coming and sharing your time and your life with me on the air on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get happy, get balanced, get real, get everything you need from this show. All right. I think we're almost, how are we doing on time?
Oh, we're over.
We're over. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
This is Dr. Marissa signing out.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Happy 8.